Hello and welcome to our place in the sun. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go right into the focus tree and we're going to talk about our political path. So the first thing, whenever we get the chance, we're going to do is the National Security Act. I'm going to go to the longest day and I'm going to go down here. The main reason for this is roleplay. Here kinda seems like, why would I go for the Showa restoration when I'm just going to separate powers? This one, I was thinking about doing it just because it had the Imperial flag in it, but this is, as you can see, it's more of like intellectuals and politicians, which, okay. But this one, it's restorationist army generals and officers. So like straight military support. So I think that seems kind of cool. The goal of this series is going to be control all of Asia, maybe part of the Middle East, even though the Middle East is technically part of Asia. Also Russia as well. But also like to go for like Hawaii and, if I can, the Pacific States of America, but we'll see. But we're gonna go straight into research. It's gonna increase our research speed. Go for the industry start, nothing too special there. So then after that, this is where things can get interesting. I could try to go for more oil, which I'll need to supply our navy. I could go straight for naval designs, or I could go for an air force. I think I'm actually going to go for the, let's see, yeah, definitely I'm going to go for oil. After that, let's look to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, so we got more conversion speed and max factories. So because of that, I want to get a lot of civilian early on. It's already kind of a basic strategy, so I don't think anyone will be too shocked by that. So for the Naval Dockyards, this is where things get interesting. I want to start off with where things have the potential to be interesting. I'm going to go with 3 convoys. And I want... what do I want? Probably... focus on getting some dreadnoughts. And then to support them, we'll go with... let's not do Weltkrieg. Let's go with improved cruiser hulls. Max that out. Don't care about heavy fighters. I don't like bombers. So yeah, there's a bit of a resource problem in Japan. Surprising, right? Actually, I think I'm going to just completely abandon an air force. Not super great, I know. What do I want to do with the rest of these new military factories that I just got? Let's do that. Do I have the ability? I do not even have the ability to build motorized. Okay, which is a problem. Let's go there, max that out. Can't do the Rising Sun. Could start with Naval Reforms. It's important that we took a quick look at our national focuses. So we've got a divided army. Not good. We need to get one of these as quickly as possible. Then we have a narrow gauge railway. Intersection construction speed is up. Resource gain efficiency is down, which is bad because, as I said earlier, we're kind of low on resources. Poor land use. Not exactly a good thing. 30% stability, 30% war support. We want to get rid of that as quickly as possible. War support hurts. Probably the big thing that I'm worried about here is probably mobilization speed and command power. I could if surrender limit's that low, we're probably screwed anyways. And stability is a big one. Factory output, dockyard output, organization, political power, all things very important. And then this is good. Resource gain efficiency and factory output. There's one thing that doesn't show up here, which you can get, is the Army and the Navy. I know this is how it is in normal Hearts of Iron 4, but I think it's in Kaiserreich too. If you favor one or the other, they get jealous, and that causes problems. So I'm going to go with probably back and forth. Try to keep them happy. No divisions in basic training. Let's see. So this, I'm not even try to pronounce it, but I want to go ahead and double check to make sure I saw that right. This is the one with an H. And what we're going to do is we are going to probably take a hit. We're going to convert all of our infantry to that. Whoa, wrong one. 1000 IQ. Good job. Good job. And we also have some cavalry. I want to get rid of those as quickly as possible for motorized and tank. And then we have all of our marines, which will be very important for the obvious reason we're surrounded by water. We want to get our stuff from. We can start off with the United States, that's fine. Okay, recovering from the lost decade. In what has come to be called the lost decade, the 1920s were marked by economic depression and political instability in Japan. The plight was particularly severe in the agricultural sector and caused a massive demographic change as farmers fled from the depressed countryside to urban areas, flooding the labor market and further driving down wages. After leaving the Constitutionalist coalition and taking charge of the government, Inukai and his cabinet successfully expanded the Japanese sphere of influence into Manchuria and the edges of Siberia, acquiring a vital export market for the Japanese economy, but the agricultural situation continued to deteriorate as cheap agricultural imports from Manchuria bled into the countryside. As 1936 dawns, continued rearmament and state investment has fully rebuilt the industrial economy, but the issue of rural poverty remains chronic and unsolved. And one thing I'm going to be trying to do is, let's go over to here. I'm going to be trying to do things like support the warlords. Oh, move that over. Krinsky assassinated. Happens every time. Not even gonna talk about it. So I want to do things like support the warlords, recruit collaborators, and do things like the fruits of loyalty, in order to make people like us more. And even if we don't directly control it, if they're in our alliance, I'm considering it a win. But that doesn't mean we're going to be completely nice. We're going to be pressuring Hawaii, targeting East Indies, Indochina. If people don't want to join us willingly, we'll do it by force, economic pressure, whatever it takes. Okay. Now onto this. Voting rights and legation council. The legation cities were formed in 1928 as a result of the Americans intervening in the Zili-Fangtang conflict that they believed was going to spill out into open war between ourselves and the Zili and their German backers. When the passenger train was attacked by Chinese warlords, America saw the opportunity to mediate not only in order to create a more permanent solution to the instability in the East, but also enshrine the open door policy in China, which allows all powers equal access to Chinese markets, consisting of all official concessions in China as well as 30-mile neutral zone legation cities, officially known as the International Mandate for Chinese Concessions. Also hosts a formed legation council for the various powers with Chinese interests to coordinate their policies better. As the foremost power in the Far East, we naturally are able to vote on the council and further our Chinese agenda and stymie our enemies. How exciting. I feel like the Legation Council could be fun to play, right? At the same time, building a strong army, I don't think they could. Maybe I just haven't printed enough. The Montessu declares records earnings. Japan has had a presence in Manchuria ever since the conclusion of the Russo-Japanese War, and in the years since, our holdings over the region has greatly strengthened. Negotiations at Shanghai in 1928 opened the world to recognize a right to a free hand in Manchuria, opening boundless opportunities for citizens under the Kuomintang Army's watchful eye. Our control was not absolute, however, and Zhang Zun's fainting government is not always cooperative. It is fortunate for him that our desire to safeguard a profitable peace in Manchuria remains paramount, alongside our hope that his government will one day act as a vehicle for our greater Chinese ambitions. For these reasons, the heart of our efforts in Manchuria is the South Manchuria Railway Company, or Montessu for short, which has become responsible for developing and exploiting vast swaths of Manchurian economy, propelling the region to become Japan's primary source of coal and steel, as well as a producer of over half the world's soybean supply. Today, Manchester has announced the highest profits to date. Let's see. These guys could turn against us, which, at least I think they can. Yeah, eliminate internal dissent. Yeah, I feel like these guys... I'm not going to spend a bunch of time looking at it, but something we got to be worried about. And just like that, we have a pretty large negative in both infantry and artillery. Actually, we looked at artillery. Yeah. Great, right? We'll try to get done here as quickly as possible. Totalist charter. I might have mentioned this already, but the 4-year term of the incumbent Imperial Diet elected in 1932 as Prime Minister Inaki... Sorry, I can't pronounce it. I never pronounce anything right. Sorry, guys. It's called a general election to happen as soon as possible. Very well. But anyways, as I was trying to say, I'm going to be going down here. Going for armor and, motorized. Because I like the idea of being able to land quickly and then take as much land from a beachhead as possible with our motorized and then backing up with tanks to continue pushing. Sounds like fun to me. But we of course have the problem of not really having very much in the way of mobile infantry. I think we unlock a new... Guess we unlock a new template here, right? Maybe not. Qin, governor of the Anhui province within the League of 8 provinces. Black Monday reaches the shores. That was to be expected. We lose 3% stability. Sorry, Qin, the governor of Anhui within the League of 8 provinces, asked for support in the coming struggle against the king and the League. While Chen takes a strong anti-concessionist viewpoint and receives most of his support from his movement, he also recognizes the position he has found himself trapped in. Either he sticks with his ideals and loses his land, his army, and likely his life, or reaches out and comes knocking on the door of the most powerful nation in all of East Asia. Urged by the governor of Zhejiang, Chen needs to establish contact with Fei Ting and their allies. It seems that he is chosen for the latter option. This has provided us with an excellent opportunity to further weaken German hold on Nanjing and cause damage to the southern flank of the King's center of power, something we should exploit as much as possible. Caution should still be advised, however, as pushing ourselves too hard on Chen may yet cause him to reconsider or worse, have his support and extension his chances of victory evaporate. Another piece has entered the board. Which one is the Anhui province? So these guys. Potential allies. Okay. Mission from Norway. We have received a trade delegation from the Kingdom of Norway. The country now seeks trading partners and is not part of the German Reichspakt that dominates trade on the European mainland. They seem to trade, among other things, dried fish and have offered us very favorable rates on Norwegian merchant shipping. Most of our trade experts are in favor of accepting, while few oppose use of foreign shipping and moving Japanese goods. Lose 10%. We will, yeah, sure. Maybe Norway will like us more. The nation is a mess. The illusion of king hegemony shatters. China's divided. Right. After the constitutional restoration of 1926, the subsequent political realignment, two parties came to dominate Japanese politics. Conservative Reichen Seiyukai Association of Friends of Constitutional Government and the Liberal Minnesota Democratic Party. The Reichen Seiyukai has an absolute majority from the general election of 1932, but support in the countryside, the traditional voting base, has been declining as the political atmosphere turned against the ruling partner. Minnesota, known as the Kaiserreich Constitutional Government Association before 1927, solidified its electoral base throughout the cities and began to expand into the countryside, hoping to break the Seiyukai's absolute majority and to diet a new third player in the general election in 1936 is the Socialist Masses Party, founded by Social Democrats and Syndicalists in 1933. Now it's time to see if the Seiyukai has retained enough seats to keep an absolute majority. We want them to. Sure. We'll see exactly how that turns out. The ongoing factional rivalry between the ranks of the IGA has found new front. The military strategic debate between the two rising stars, Major General Nagata Tetsuden of the Centralist faction and Major General Obata of the Restorationist faction. General Nagata believes the Japanese economy is adequate to sustain any kind of total warfare, and thus building up a total war-capable army should be our top objective. He calls for expanding our mobilization capacity, modernizing equipment, centralizing the command structure. General Obata's analysis is nearly identical, but he has come to a different conclusion. Due to volatile international tensions, war would come to Japan before the country could ever achieve such a capacity through internal development. Accordingly, he came to the conclusion that in future wars, the IGA must seek the quick destruction of hostile forces by waging war through short, rapid, and decisive operations to avoid a long war. Both agree centralized command structure is a good idea and that raw manpower tactics are a poor strategy. We can never hope to compete with Russian or Chinese manpower. We may now choose how to proceed. I will choose wisely. So, we support both generals. Support neither. We support Nagata. Or we support Obata. We're going to be supporting Obata. Do we want to do this first? Sure. Training mission to Anking. Let's do it. The assassination of Katayama Sen, born in 1859. Katayama Sen was the most senior syndicalist leader in Japan, known as the father of Japanese syndicalism. Exiled to the USA after participating in early social democratic movements, Katayama witnessed and was influenced by Jack Reed's syndicalist activities and the development of the industrial workers of the world into the CSA. Katayama was returned to Japan after the constitutional restoration of 1926 and founded the first legal syndicalist party in Japan, the Rodo Naminato Labor Farmer Party. And after the party was declared illegal in 1932, he formed another party called the Shakai Tashiuto Socialist Masses Party, and amalgamation of socialist democratic parties and syndicalist movements. Yesterday, while visiting Kyoto and congratulating member Yamamoto Sanjinu's election, a gang of 3 right-wingers stormed his office and beat the 2 men with clubs. Yamamoto survived, but Katayama, age 75, never regained consciousness and died earlier today. This will be bad. So he doesn't really like me, which is fine. Yeah, they're probably gonna lose. They got cut off there.
Hit it!
So he got saved. Okay. Why is the left Kuomintang more positive of us than Anjing? Radical socialists. Okay. I'll say radical socialists are closer to social conservatives than paternal autocrat, but, you know. So now we get a new... Let's go straight up to partial mobilization. And we have a full stack building more civilians. What's Tunjin? Sure. Cool. Now that that's done, we'll go initiative and mobility. Declared war on the left Kuomintang. Friction within the Japanese left. So now we got a new thing. Let's see. Pause. Failed coup in Beijing. Do we want more production or do we want them to be stronger? Let's go with stronger. Go ahead and start building better tanks. Shanghai refuses. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. Should be getting close to May 15th. Prime Minister was assassinated. Sorry, the Prime Minister had been assassinated. Rascal officers connected to the nuclear broke into the official residence and shot Prime Minister Anuki. They claimed they did it to avenge the death of Katayama Sen and the murder of workers in Niigata. The incident has greatly shocked the nation, and the Admiralty Board, mortified by the incident, has already begun a court-martial and deep investigation into radical activities within the Navy. Let's take a quick look. Who are we supporting? The... Dang it, don't see him. I don't know how much we want these guys to actually win. We'll see. Okay, so construction is doing better. Let's go ahead and go with... Let's go for concentrated industry. Navy leadership protests army bias. We literally did one more thing for the Army than we did for the Navy. Oh, this doesn't count as a Navy thing. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I kinda wanted to go over here. Actually, wait, I can't even do this till 1937. Okay. It's National Security Act I wanted to get done. That's fine. We'll get a naval reform done, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Since we're not really doing anything, let's...
이동 준비 완료.
You know what, let's go ahead and transfer all of you guys over to armored divisions. White Sun over China. Restorationists and Centralists, the Inchi Restoration faction is a political ideology promoted by radical junior officers and characterized by its anti-capitalist, anti-oligarchism, and anti-parliamentism, usually coming from underprivileged and or humble backgrounds. Many of these officers have experienced poverty from childhood and observed what they considered the evil influence of favoritism, leading them to believe that the establishment has been hijacked power from the emperor and is leading the nation to the abyss. The restoration solution is to sweep out the ruling establishment and restore all power back to the emperor, and from there a complete national restoration. Restore all power back to the emperor, and from there complete a national reform was to be initiated. Against them are the Shushani, the central faction who were close to the central military leadership, who supported the cooperation of establishment and the militarization of politics. That's a lot. So that's something we gotta be wary of.
Shit!
For war at this moment. Okay, who is this? Let's see, we'll do one force rate. Do we want this? I want to go with no. because they might go against the Fengting government. Remember in the Russia series, these guys joined the Japanese. So I don't know how likely that's to happen, but keep an eye for the possibility of doing it. The vote passes. One elects a new king. Naval Reforms is almost done. Naval Reform is done. I'm going to start the National Security Act. A debate in the Diet regarding the National Security Act has been raging for the past few weeks, and it's time for us to decide the course every nation will take. Some conservatives of the Diet fear that if the act is not passed, radical elements of society will try to seize power. The future of Japan is in our hands. This update. The Navy still feels neglected, really. Well, that's dumb. But anyways, we've reached our time, so please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next episode, and leave a comment to let me know what exactly you guys want me to do in this national focus. I'm thinking about going all the way down here to about, at least to get here, maybe all the way down to land reform, and then start going down the rising sun and stuff. But if you want me to try to balance it out, let me know.